When Paul was writing his second letter to Timothy, he was in a dark, dank dungeon with a tiny hole in the top of it for air and light. He was cold. He was hard to sleep. He was bored. He was being treated like a criminal. He was condemned to die, according to tradition, by Nero's persecution. Paul knew that his death was near, and so he was giving Timothy wise words to help him endure this long race that we're in. This is a marathon of faith that we're in, and a big part of it is suffering. And Paul says to Tim, "Join me in my suffering." And this is a theme we see all through the Bible. Paul, in his letter to the Philippians, says, "I consider all of my past religious accomplishments to be like garbage compared with the surpassing value of knowing the power of Christ and knowing him in suffering, participating in the sufferings of Christ." And I've never suffered like Paul did, but I have suffered. And I can tell you that suffering brings us closer to God. You know the love of God, presence of God through suffering. It's one of the major ways in your life that you go deeper in God. Now, suffering can be defined like this. You are out of control. You realize, I'm not the boss of my life. Things are happening in my life that I cannot control. I want to go this way, but I can't go that way. Whether it's finances, relationships, jobs, ministry, career, whatever it is, we are not in control. There are many forces we can't predict in our life. So great patience is required, great flexibility, willingness to accept whatever hand of cards God gives you in life, whatever station in life God happens to put you in. Be willing to accept that and find him in the middle of it, like Paul did in the midst of a prison. Paul says to Timothy, "You know about my way of life, my purpose, faith, patience, love, endurance, persecution, sufferings." And he says, everyone who wants to live a godly life in Jesus will be persecuted. So this is God's design for us. So when that happens to you, recognize it and say, "Lord, I want to grow deeper with you. I don't want to use this as an opportunity to get bitter. I want to run closer to you." And as Paul says to the Romans, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, endurance produces character, and character produces hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who's been given to us. Be encouraged, even if you're suffering. You can go deeper with God.